Hi, I'm Greg Zabella. I work with Western Computer. I'm a nav reporting and BI specialist for Western. This is Power BI. So first we're going to show you here the capability of Power BI dashboards. So this here is a dashboard that we've built. As you can see, we have different graphs and different charts that we have visually shown here. And as you can see, it's not limited to just the size of your screen. Your dashboard, you can scroll through top to bottom. And you're also not limited in the size of your visualizations either. You can resize them and they automatically resize as you go through them. And you can also have different graphs from different data sources. So for example, if I come down here and click on my margins percent graph here, I'm in my Dynamics Nav data source right now. And when you click on the graph, it takes you to the report that you pull the graph from. From there, if you have any kind of filtering on the report, you can actually go through and specifically filter that graph down based on the information that you want. So if you're looking for a range of dates, you can select them and your graph will automatically adjust based on what you are filtering. From here, if you change any of the graphs based on the filter, you can actually go through and repin it back to your dashboard. And then from here, you get visualization to either pin to an existing dashboard, a new dashboard, and then a drop-down for any of the existing dashboards that we already have. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this back to my Microsoft Dynamics Nav dashboard. If I come back to it and scroll down, now we can see that the graph that I had just filtered by is now here with the new filters. Another thing that you can do from the dashboard is come here and actually edit some of the information. So for example, if I want to change the title, I can change it to actual net change. And you can see that it changes the graph as I'm typing it. If we wanted to change the subtitle, we could do that as well. So we could call it by date, by margin. And then we also have several other filters that we can do as well. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Now you can see the title is now changed, so is the subtitle. Another thing that you can do is you can either click from here or you can click from here to focus specifically on any one graph. And as you move down the graph, you can see that the specific points that make up the graph are actually displayed on the screen. From here we can get back to our dashboard. And another thing that we can do is delete the graph if we want to. Another useful thing about the dashboard is when you're on here, you can ask a specific question. So let's say I want the top item sales by vendor. I can do that and it comes up and it gives me the best choice for what I could visually like to see out of the information that I have typed there. From here we can actually manipulate this, and let's say that I want to filter by any profit that is greater than 0, and then I also want to filter by just a select few item tracking codes. So now you can see we actually have narrowed it down to any profit that is greater than 0 and any item tracking code that I have selected. From here we can select different visualizations. So for example, multi-card row. And if we wanted to, we can also see here in the fields list all of the fields that make up the graph that we just created, and we can also add anything else that we would like to this graph. Once you've gone through the fields and the visualizations and the editing that you want, you can go ahead and pin the visual to your dashboard. Again, when you pin it to your dashboard, you come up with this pop-up screen to select an existing or new dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and select my Microsoft Dynamics Nav dashboard. If I come back here and scroll down, now I have this new visualization here. Again, you can go through and you can edit it, change the title if you want, delete it, focus on it, etc. From here, another thing that you can do is come down here to data sets, and you can actually create a new report. So we have our reports here, and then we have our data sets below. So if I click here on data set, I can go through and I can actually create a new report to add, which we can add to any of our dashboards. So if I come here Let's just create a sales by salesperson, and as you can see in real time, it automatically starts creating a visualization for me. We're not limited to just this visualization, just like the suggested reports when we asked the question on the dashboard. We can go through and we can select different visualizations if we want to. And we can also add multiple visualizations here as well. So let's go ahead and add sales by customer as well. And again, you can adjust it if you want to. And then another thing that you can do is come here and actually change the colors if you'd like, as well as other information. So your access, you can show the title, you can change the color of your title. So if I change it to black, you can see here, it now changes the title to black. Again, and you can show the title if you'd like to. On the data colors, as I said, you can come through and you can actually change them. And the graphs will change in real time. As well as changing other visualizations. Another thing that we're doing while we're building the report is we can actually come in and add a filter. So for example, if I want to, I can pull the salesperson in here, and if I filter by a specific salesperson, you can see that both the graphs have changed based on what I have selected. You can also remove items if you'd like to. So if you have a filter you'd like to remove, it'll reset your graphs for you. Another thing that we can do is we can also duplicate a page if we'd like to. So if we like the information that's on a specific page, but let's say we're going to share a dashboard with a specific salesperson, we can duplicate the page and we can filter down based on that specific salesperson. Or another thing we can do is we can actually pre-filter. So for example, if I come in here and create a new page, I can create a filter by salesperson, select that I only want Peter, and then if I select sales by salesperson, now you can see that we only have Peter. Another example here is if I do customer by sales amount and change the visualization, you can now see that it's filtered down to just the customers that we had selected earlier when just Peter was selected as a filter. Once we've gone through and created the report that we like, we can also do other things. So for example, if I wanted to give a title to this page, I can add a text box up here and call this sales by salesperson information. And we can come in here and we can change the font if we like to. So let me go ahead and change this to Times New Roman, or I can change it to Calibri. And then we can also change the font size. We can bold, italicize, underline, etc., etc. Center it. And then another thing that we can do as well is we can add shapes to this. So if I wanted to have a line, so let's say this is sales by salesperson information, and I wanted to have a line pointing just to this graph, I can drop this in here, drag this over, so now we know that's sales by salesperson. Or if you don't want a line, you can remove this visualization, add an arrow, etc., etc. Once we've gone through and we have finalized the report that we want to create, if I come up here and save it, create a report name, and save it, it shows that the report has been saved, and now in the reports I have an asterisk next to the new report that I've created called Sales by Salesperson. So if I refresh this, now we have our report. And just the same as earlier, now that I'm in this report, I can pin any of the visualizations that I want to, either to an existing dashboard or a new dashboard. So let's call this one Sales by Peter. So if I come up here, now I have a new dashboard called Sales by Peter with the visualization that we have selected. One of the other features that we can do from here is we can share this dashboard with another person. So for example, if I wanted to share this with Greg Williams, I can share it with him, include a message, sharing Peter's sales dashboard. We also have options here to allow the people that we send our dashboards to share your dashboard with others. And we can also send an email notification to the recipients as well. A send email notification means if you have that checked, that they'll get an email notification. If you have it unchecked, they will just have a new dashboard the next time that they log into Power BI with no notifications. Up here in Access, this will tell you who has access to this dashboard currently. And it also provides you with a link of the dashboard in case you want to copy and paste it and share it with others. As you can see here, it shows who created the dashboard, so the owner of the dashboard. And if I were to share this with Greg, it says the dashboard has been successfully shared. And if I come back into sharing options and see access, you now see that Greg Williams has been added and he can view the dashboard. If you want to, you can disable the reshares. So if you had previously said that you want to allow this recipient to share the dashboard, you can revoke that. Also, you can stop sharing the dashboard as well, and then that removes their access from the dashboard altogether. And that's a demonstration of how to use Power BI online.